All right, well, we're back, and I'm back with Kiran Kaur. Of course, I'm Jim Lawrence, and we are real estate investors located in Canada. And Kiran's on the other side of the country in BC. And what were you near Vancouver? I forget, Kiran. I should
I'm in
know.
Richmond. Yes, yeah.
Richmond. I should know that. All right, I apologize. And yeah, we had a great discussion last time, and we spoke about a bunch of provinces that a lot of investors like to invest in when they're looking at the Canadian market. And today we're going to talk about those markets and what we look for in those type of markets and help you understand what tools to use. So, Kieran,
Perfect. Yes, yeah.
what is one of your tools? What's your go-to tool when you want to analyze a province and see what's available there?
Mm. Okay, thank you, Jim. Thank you to see you again. And so it's amazing to be doing this podcast again. So for when we pick any market, so we look at the overall the key market indicators. So why are we picking that market, right? So what is the economic growth in that market? Like uh, price per unit, and what is the immigration, and how is the job growth? What major companies are coming up in that area, and if the population is coming in or going out, and other than if there's a rent cap in that particular population, if it's like a birth strategy in that province or that particular market, and what kind of strategies are being implemented, and look at like what, if it's like for example, as Calgary, like older buildings, like office buildings, getting changed into bigger residential zoning. Like if it's like just outside Edmonton or outside Calgary, like people, big players buying piece of land and doing multifamily construction. So looking at what are the recent purchases, and based on that, we analyze, yeah,
Now, I
picking up
know,
a market.
no, absolutely, and I know that CMHC, Mortgage Housing Corporation, which is a crown corporation of the federal government, they produce a great amount of information. They have a trove of information where they explain a lot of that stuff, and that's, countrywide, and but they do talk about certain markets. Is there any other tools that you'd recommend to our viewers that would help them out with this type of thing?
Yes, yeah. So for me, we use CoStar. So which is they and spend a lot of money, tons of money, to looking at researching the markets. They look at how many transactions were done in the last few months, and where were the transactions, who was the big player, and what was the price per unit, what is the rent per unit, and even like CoStar can show you what is the rent in particular neighborhood. So, for example, I picked up Edmonton. I can see how much is the rent in the south side, how much is the rent in west side, how much is the rent on the east side, and you know what is happening in that particular market. So we there are a lot of things CoStar shares with you, and so you can see. Yes, yeah. So you can see like the news on the main CoStar page, and then when you go to the markets, and you can see more about that particular market, what's happening in that particular market. So
Right. And you do need the membership
yes,
on
yes, yeah.
to get
So you
access to that.
do need the membership, and what I can do, like every month or every few months, we get market analysis. So I can. So there was a market analysis done in just in March, and then I can see. So in the last 12 months, they were Toronto has the most sales transactions for multifamily, and then second was Calgary, and then Greater Golden Horseshoe area, and then Vancouver, then Ottawa, Gatineau, and then last was Edmonton.
So
So
just for our viewers that are watching, the Greater Horseshoe area is kind of the Greater Toronto area. It
yes, yeah.
kind of goes a little bit further out, but kind of goes around the Lake Ontario there.
Yes. So these are the indicators you can see. For example, you can use these tools to look at the market cap rate, and then you base upon what cap rate you are buying, and you can base, you can, as long as you're making money on the buy, you know and is the market growing, and you're good to go.
Karen, I don't know if you're going to know the answer to this, but I'm pretty sure I heard you say Gatineau, Quebec.
Yes, yeah.
Now, Irismar and I love Quebec. Love Quebec. Gatineau was not on my radar. Do you have any insight there why Gatineau made the top five?
I think it's a Ottawa area, right? Like when the Ottawa is expensive, people move out. People who are working in Ottawa, they can live in Gatineau because it's nearby, right? And it's a federal place. All the government people making big money, and where they're going to live,
Right on. So
you
just
know.
for those of you watching here, just to understand what Kieran's talking about, Gatineau is very popular right across. You just cross the bridge on the Ottawa River, and I think it's about a 45-minute or less. I think it's about 30-minute drive until you're in
Mm,
central Gatineau. But it's beautiful. The whole area is really gorgeous, and Ottawa is often known as one of the happiest places to live in Canada for people between the ages of like 25 to 65. So I don't know what they're doing well there. It's it's our Canadian capital, so there's high government workers there. You have military as well, but they do have a lot of fun, and I like the little market that they have down there as well. It's a great place to visit and invest. So very interesting. And I think a lot of people live in Gatineau and they work in Ottawa because it's so
mhm,
close,
mhm.
and they're able to save because Quebec properties are a little bit more affordable than on the Canadian and the Ontario side.
Yeah, so the different and once and the population is gets more dense and people spread out, right? It's okay if I can save 500 $600 on my like residence, and I can travel like public transport or bus, or like for a car a little bit far, if I'm saving that much money, if I'm starting out. And people who, it's the employees that drives the market, like who are going to be your tenants, where are they going to live. So high vacancy rate sometimes like a really expensive areas, and people try to spread out, like go further on in all directions. Yeah.
Right. And now, so people are, we're researching, we join Facebook groups, we see what's happening off market, on market deals, they're all being thrown in our face. And it's a province that's, about a 4-hour flight away from us. I mean, some of the tools you mentioned. So what are the things that people should look for when they're looking at a province, or even some foreign investors too? So we're looking at the immigration levels, the cap rates,
Mhm.
the employers nearby, and does CoStar break down a lot of that information as well for you?
It does. So what I do, like every morning, I get up and I spend most of my time in the morning to research the market, what's going on in the news. Like that news is just a real estate news, not another country fighting with another country, because that's like it's gonna impact me, but not not today. And so that's where I start, and looking at the particular neighborhoods and population, what's happening, where are the transactions happening. Because if big players are going, if we're, if Main Street or Blackstone or all these people are buying in particular name, I'm going to go there because they have already done their research. And if they're buying bigger assets, but I am going to go just below them and then start investing on that side. So that's also a strategy I use. And just follow the players, and follow the market, follow the economy. And I also look at where are those franchises, more franchises opening up, and where they are closing, and all those transactions too. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, and some of the big franchises that we try to follow are Starbucks, and
Hmm.
that's one to keep an eye on for sure. Starbucks, Costco. Costco's not a
Walmart.
franchise.
Hmm.
Walmart's they've done their market research, and if you see a
IKEA.
new,
Yes.
yes, So very, very good in that. And the other companies that you mentioned there, the Blackstones and things like that, these are for major REITs, real estate
Mm.
investment trusts. These guys have hundreds of millions, if not billions, under their portfolio of management. And they are doing real research. Now, I don't know if one of those companies owns CoStar. I'm trying to remember who owns,
LoopNet, CoStar. I'm not sure who owns, but
right?
like it's LoopNet is part of like the CoStar. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
So
LoopNet, you can see the transaction, you can see all those. And the other thing, really, really important, I want to remind investors is just like this is the age of information. You get so much information from like there's like information overload. When somebody's starting out, they're looking for the market, so they go from like everybody investing in St. John, everybody investing in Moncton, and then they go start in Edmonton, like go like different markets. So just focus on one market and stay on that market until you have full grasp, like studied the market and have done some transactions. Then go on the other market, because you want to make sure that one market works for you, and if it doesn't work, like change your search criteria. You are going to make profit, you're going to make money when you're doing the transaction, not only the research part, like looking at the deals. This is not working, this is not working. So in every market you can make money. You can make money if it's like, if it's not buy and hold, if it's not value add, and if it's like arbitrage, what kind of strategy that works for a particular market. So pick up a market, pick up a niche, and just stick to that and become the expert in that area. Have your team build up. You have the mortgage broker who is expert in that market, who has you have appraisers, you have the lenders, you have the property manager, you have the the tenant profile, what kind of tenant profile you need. That's the tenant profile, like people forget sometimes, because if your profile is students, you need to your like marketing, it needs to be different compared to if it's like travel nurses or like local doctors. It's going to be different kind of marketing you would need for your operational demand, operational of your properties. Acquisition is easy. You can buy property anywhere you want. It's how are you going to make it, how are you going to increase value to that property. It's going to be property managers, appraisers, and mortgage brokers giving you the right product and giving you the right advice. What can you do for the property?
no, absolutely. And
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, even when you're looking at things like student rental, I mean, understanding what type of students do you want in there? Do you want the more mature students, perhaps, that are willing to pay a little bit higher to have a cleaner, safer, quieter place where we're not having the all-nighter parties anymore,
Hmm.
and they're more respectful to your property and taking
Hmm.
better care of it. So then your marketing also shifts in terms of price point and how do you attract those types of students. So it's just getting creative. And I mean, it doesn't always have to be students when you're investing in somewhere near a school. I mean, a lot of these big universities also have a lot of employees,
Professors,
professors,
yeah.
staff, cleaning, all these types
Mm.
of things. All this has to go in. Just think about it, and they all have a great job, and they're willing to pay something to have a cleaner, more respectful type of place. So, uh,
Hmm. I agree.
th things to keep in mind. Now, you mentioned one of the most cities with the most multifamily transactions was Toronto, our biggest city in Canada, where a lot of people are saying they're having a tough time finding any real opportunities there. However, there's obviously a lot of transactions being made. What can you say to somebody that's new when they're looking at the Toronto or the immediate greater Toronto area? What are some things that they can look for in this market where they feel that the rumors or the common thought is that they're priced out, investors are priced out?
So I would say, what kind of investor are you, right? So are you looking for are you looking for joint ventures? Are you looking for partnership? When you do partnerships, you can do bigger. If you're all by yourself and you have 100K to invest for a down payment, and you have limited qualifying power, right? And you're looking in the most expensive market in the country, so there are limited options. What can you do in that particular market? So go outside and or do a joint venture and then do bigger piece of land, or like partner up with the developer or and do bigger transactions. There are transactions happening, and every market has that particular um, because now their strategy is different. Toronto is it's a different market cycle, right? If somebody's starting out, how much capital they have and how much resources they have, and what are their goals, that will make a big difference, right? And end of the day, when somebody's starting out, so like they are either working or not working. If somebody's working and they need some cash flow so that they can reduce their hours from job and go more into, spend more time into real estate for knowledge, and spend more time with doing the transactions. Because it's like once you do a couple of transactions, you will have some properties which are stabilized, and some transactions which are already need some work, and then you are looking for more for acquisition, right? It just becomes like kind of full-time job. So if somebody's starting out, I would say look at what your goals are, how much capital do you have, and what are you open to, partnerships, or are you going to be your only partner having 100% of that asset and do alone. Then like doing pre-sales or flipping condos, and you can always do that. So pick up the cheapest property on the uh, good growing areas and look at the appraisals, and just start. Yeah,
No,
just start. Yeah.
just start. But the one thing I do like to say, I mean, it's taking action is big. The other thing though that I want to point out to everybody watching this is what Kiran said also is, depends what your goals are. And really the goals are really the main driver that's going to lead you down a path of really achieving your goal. Because if it's cash flow that you need because you want to get out of your 9 to 5, you're going to have to look at those, evaluate those types of properties and those types of markets. And if it's not cash flow, then you're in a situation where maybe it's a market like Toronto or Vancouver's good for you because the chances of appreciation are very great, especially in a shorter amount of time. There's always risk involved, and
Hmm.
always confirm with your professionals which route is best for you. But
Hmm.
those are great valid points. So I love that.
Hmm.
Now, the other thing is that, when we're getting thrown all these cities, and now we've got our city marked down that we're focusing on, and we're becoming the expert in that city. You're getting a bunch of properties thrown at you. You probably signed up for some real estate agents. They're putting you on their drip email list, so you're getting all these properties being thrown at you. You're joining off-market email lists or off-market groups. There needs to be a way that we need to track all of this and maintain it. Or what do you use, Karen? Are you using a simple spreadsheet when you're tracking this, and what do you look for when you're tracking? What type of information?
So I quickly go through, and I have a certain time where I look for a new acquisition. Once I get a So this is my strategy, right? So I look for the property, like any email I open up, I put it down to like pending underwrite, or like just send to delete. If something is like a single family house, it's not on my, I'm not looking, I just delete, and then send email to the realtor, change their criteria for sending me the deals. I'm only looking, if the market is price per door is 100, I'm only looking for 50K per door or 60K per door, because I'm gonna do BRR in that particular market, or value add. So I put it under pending underwrite, and then once I have my scheduled time where I look at properties comes up, and I look at, is the price per unit high or is it low? Has the property being sitting on the market for a long time, or is it just new? I start from oldest and then look at the newest one, because the newest one, the seller is not ready yet. It could be as if the price is sometimes he's motivated and the price is just there, that there is some equity still left, right? And then once I look at the property, I like it, and then the conversation starts with the realtor or the seller, and I put on my CRM list. And on the CRM list, I make a comment, then when to follow up, what I'm waiting for. I'm waiting for the financials, and I have a comment that, then once I get the financials, underwrite and where the numbers are working, and then, every property I have on my CRM list.
Perfect.
And there
And
are there are some free CRM is just like a management system where you have all your property list on one side, and then you can look uh like systematic, so that it's not there are like tons of properties, you forget the address and you forget the financial, what the price was. You need a system where you have all the properties in one kind of database. Yeah.
y-
And
you-
something that recorded. Yeah.
you're going to have to tell the sun to stop moving, or it's going to push you right off the screen there. Um, just joking with you.
It's a
Um,
beautiful
it's amazing weather that we're having right
day
now.
here.
Yeah, I love it too. I'm going to go out for a little walk right after this. Now, the uh what did I want to say there? So the CRM. So the other thing I wanted to point out to people watching as well is, to have a spreadsheet or a CRM that's going to keep a track of the properties that you've researched or you've put offers in on, and even if they were rejected, because as you go along this journey of real estate investing and you learn more, you're talking to more people, you're going to learn something. You're going to learn different strategies. I mean, we're always learning new strategies. You keep talking to new people. I mean, like here we are, I'm 4 years in on this and talking to new people. You're always learning something new. And you can say, oh, that might work in that property I looked at a few months ago. Go and you can find out. And one of the more popular sites, I'm sure you use this one, um, Kiran, is House Sigma. It's, gives you options for Ontario, Alberta, and British Columbia. It's very popular amongst real estate investors. And, they give you some stuff that, say, websites like realtor.ca don't give you. Um, I thought I pushed
I
the wrong
have
button.
not used I'm definitely going to check out House Sigma.
Oh,
That's nice.
okay.
Yes.
Because it what it can do for you. So, I mean, of course, they'll tell you what's for sale, but they can tell you also what has been delisted or terminated. So they're no longer on the market. I'm giving a big secret
Mhm.
here out to everybody. But but keep a spreadsheet of the properties that you looked at, put a notes column as to why it doesn't work out or what. Just something, if you put effort into a property, you might want to revisit it later on.
Mhm.
And you learn something else. You learn VTB, and then a couple months later, you're like, I could probably use a VTB with this seller. So let's use that. And the other thing I just wanted to point out for anybody watching, Kieran has mentioned twice a different strategy called the BRRRR strategy. The BRRRR is buy, renovate, rent, repeat, refinance, and repeat. So that's the BRRRR strategy, and that's popular amongst a lot of real estate investors as well. That gives you, it's different than flipping. You're actually you're holding the property still with in your portfolio or amongst you and your investors. So it's a great strategy. Um, okay, so I introduced you to House Sigma there. Are there any other tools, in terms of to help people analyze properties that
There
you can
is a
think of?
for sale there's one tool, deal check, and there's one, look at like 1% rule, and like market rent. Your purchase price needs to be like 1% of the, like the rent, and cap rate.
What was the name of that last one? The one that
And is like right. Yeah.
Okay, great. And yeah, and Deal Check is another popular one there. They've got a great this helps you keep track of the properties that you're analyzing, and it really breaks it down and lets you go kind of a deep dive. I use that often, and I know a lot of people do as well. Um, so yeah, okay. Well, we covered a lot. Is there anything else you can think that you wanted to mention, Karen?
I am going to mention like just a few things. It gets a really exciting time once you have some knowledge, picking up a market and one property looks really, really good and very cheap. I would say have somebody who has more experience and who have a more
You just froze there, so we're not hearing you. Oh, and you completely cut out. But what I do want to say there in terms of, Kieran was mentioning talking, having a team together. And it might not, when you're starting off, it might seem really difficult to get that. I want you to, viewers, when you're looking for a team, I want you to make sure that you're getting investor focused realtors, mortgage brokers, um, even the professional accountants and lawyers and those types of things. They need to be investor focused. So you're getting in the insight that you need to gain. There's a lot of professionals out there, the ones that are real estate investing focused, they were speaking the same language, and they're going to be able to guide you along the way as well. And I'm sorry, Kieran, we lost you there um, as well, and we lost you again. Oh, shoot. All right. Well, I think we will wrap
sorry,
this
I'm
up.
sorry, I'm not sure. So one example, nice. Okay. So I just wanted to give one example that recently happened. Like we had a conversation with an investor, like really amazing, like enthusiastic, passionate about real estate investing, and had some single family houses, wanted to get into multifamily. And I shared what I did, and then he kind of like chose like similar purchase price, but didn't have set up the right team and. So ended up having the inspection done and appraisal done on a property, and when the time was getting close to the closing, and that mortgage broker said, I don't work in that province. So now the
Uh,
seller, there are 2 days left before removing the financing conditions, and this looks really bad, and ended up losing inspection money and the appraisal money. So get your team there and ask another investor who has done transactions before. They will guide you how many days do you need for financing, how many days you need for inspection and appraisal, when to even order inspection appraisals. And like inspections are not cheap, like even appraisals are not cheap, and like time being spent on getting the financing and like walk through and all this, I would rather have somebody um, guiding you, and not because you don't want to make the same mistake what other people have made.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
I like one investor who has like spent who has done like 12 inspections in 1 year and didn't close one property, and those are a lot of money. Like all those inspections added up, and he said, I could have just bought another property. And I said, I agree. And then he said, like, I did learn a lot, but I said, you can learn a lot, but you also need to make sure that you're not ordering another inspection until all your ducks are in a row, and you are for sure you're going to 100% in before ready, and before and it's not only the knowledge, it's like fine balance of knowledge and action. Have right team with you.
Have the right team and make sure they're in the right province as well. Yeah, that's important. And it can get really costly. I mean, with these multifamily units, the appraisal fees are, are thousands of dollars. But again, with the right team, this can be accomplished, no problem. I think Kieran has frozen again. So we're wrap this up, but I want to thank you everyone for joining us. And if you want to reach out to Kieran or myself at any time, please feel free to do so. It was great being with you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful week.